There is a feeling many people carry quietly, almost like a stone in the pocket. It is the feeling of being poor, even when the number in the bank account says otherwise. You pay the bills, you survive the month, and yet something inside still whispers, "Not enough." You wait for a bigger salary to finally feel secure, believing that security is something money alone can give you. Today, I want to tell you why so many Japanese workers, even on modest incomes, rarely carry that heavy feeling, and how a quiet daily philosophy, more than any salary, is the real reason why. Let me tell you about a woman named Yuki. Yuki worked as a clerk in a small train station office outside Kyoto. Her salary was unremarkable. Her apartment was small. By most measures, she should have felt behind in life. But she didn't. Her co-workers, some earning more than her, often complained about money, about never having enough, about waiting for the day things would finally feel comfortable. Yuki rarely joined those conversations. Not because she had more, but because she had learned something different. Her mother, who had lived through leaner years, once told her, "Poverty is not what is missing from your hands. It is what is missing from your habits." Yuki carried that sentence quietly for years, and slowly, without announcing it to anyone, she built a life around it. This is the quiet center of what keeps so many Japanese workers from feeling poor, not the size of the salary, but the steadiness of the habit around it. It is a philosophy close to Kaizen, the belief in small, continuous improvement. And to understand it, imagine a single candle in a dark room. One candle does not light the whole room. It seems almost pointless on its own. But light one candle every single night, without stopping, and eventually the room is never dark again, not because of one flame, but because the lighting itself became a habit no darkness could interrupt. Financial peace works the same way. One small saved amount, one small avoided expense, means little on its own. But repeated, night after night, month after month, it becomes a room that never truly goes dark, even when the salary stays the same. Here is what most people miss. They believe feeling poor is caused by having too little. But often, it is caused by having no system, no small, repeated action that proves to the mind, again and again, "I am in control of this." Without that proof, even a decent salary feels fragile. With it, even a small salary feels steady. This is why willpower alone so often fails. A large financial goal feels distant and abstract, so the mind does not fully believe in it and eventually stops trying. But a small, repeated action, something the mind can complete today and see completed, builds belief. And belief, quietly repeated, becomes identity. Yuki did not think of herself as someone struggling to save. She thought of herself as someone who simply saves. The difference sounds small. It changes everything. So how did Yuki build this feeling of steadiness on an ordinary income without dramatic sacrifice? She followed 3 simple daily rules. The first rule was the evening coin ritual. Each night, before bed, she set aside one small amount, sometimes barely noticeable, into a separate envelope. It was never about the amount. It was about the repetition, the small proof, every single night, that she was someone who provides for her own future. Over a year, the envelope became heavier than she expected. But the real weight gained was not in the coins. It was in her confidence. The second rule was the single question pause. Before any unplanned purchase, she asked herself only one thing. Will this matter to me in 1 week? No long calculations, no guilt, no strict budgeting spreadsheets. Just one honest pause. Some purchases passed the test. Many quietly didn't. This single question, repeated without stopping, saved her more than any dramatic budget ever could. The third rule was the monthly small increase. Once a month, she raised one small financial habit by the smallest possible margin, a little more saved, a little more invested, a little more intentional. Never a leap. Never a sacrifice large enough to cause resentment. Just 1% more than the month before. Small enough to sustain. Steady enough to compound. None of these rules required Yuki to earn more. They only required her to show up for herself in small ways without missing a day. Years later, when a coworker asked how she seemed so calm about money despite such an ordinary salary, Yuki simply said, "I stopped waiting to feel rich and started practicing feeling secure." Her coworkers were still waiting for the raise, the bonus, the lucky break that would finally quiet the feeling of not enough. Yuki had already stopped waiting years ago, one small candle at a time. And here is the truth Yuki came to understand, one that so many people discover too late. The feeling of poverty rarely comes from the number on a paycheck. It comes from a life with no small, repeated proof that you are capable of caring for yourself. The moment that proof exists, even in the smallest form, the fear quietly begins to loosen its grip. You do not need a bigger salary to stop feeling behind. You do not need permission, or the perfect month, or someone else's approval. You only need one small habit, repeated tonight, and again tomorrow. If this story reminded you of something worth practicing, consider subscribing to Will and Wisdom, so these small philosophies can find you exactly when you need them. And if you already have a small evening ritual of your own, share it in the comments. Someone else may need to hear it today. In our next video, we will explore another quiet Japanese principle, one that has helped ordinary people build not just savings, but genuine peace of mind. Until then, light your one candle tonight. And do not stop.